Hi, and welcome to Bacon Onboarding. I'm Matt. I'm going to be taking you through the presentation today, and I want to thank you for downloading the app and for making the decision to make your side hustle sizzle. So let's get going. So we're going to go over some Bacon basics really quickly. So Bacon is a gig platform that connects people with on-demand hourly jobs in your area. So it's a great way to make a little extra money on the side if that's what your goal is, or if you're in between jobs, or if you have a full-time job and you just want to make some supplemental income. So great way to do that. It gives you really great flexibility and you get paid quickly, which we'll touch on here in a little bit. So where are we located? We are currently in Salt Lake City, Utah, Boise, Las Vegas, Dallas-Fort Worth area, Madison, Wisconsin, Chicago, Detroit, Elkhart, Indiana, Virginia Beach, Virginia, and we're coming soon to Charleston, South Carolina, and Raleigh, North Carolina. So if you're watching this and you're not in any of those locations, you don't need to continue watching this if you don't feel like it, but if you'd like to send in an email to support@baconinc.com and let us know where you're at, and if you would like us to expand into your area, please do that. So one of the main questions that we get from a lot of people that download the app is, am I an employee of Bacon? And the answer to that is you're not. You are a 1099 independent contractor. So just like a lot of the other gig platforms that are out there like Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash, you are a gig worker and an independent contractor. Let's go over some Bacon app basics. So it's really important to have a clear photo on your profile. It's the first thing that companies will see, and to up your chances of being selected, make sure that you follow these tips of facing forward, no group photos, good lighting, a light background, no filters, and no hats and sunglasses. Let's go through how to navigate through the app. So the first tab that we're going to look at here is our dashboard, and this little icon on the bottom left here is going to bring up this screen right here, and you're going to see some cards up at the very top, or these buttons. Looks like there's a little alligator walking up here, so you can slide these left to right. There's going to be important information in those, and then if you look down a little bit below here, you're going to see your shifts, and you'll be able to see your upcoming shifts, and we display your next 3 shifts that you have scheduled and that you've been accepted to that are going to be on there, as well as if you tap over to the invited tab here, you'll be able to see any shifts that you've been invited to, and all you have to do is drill into those shifts and apply to them, and you'll be automatically accepted because you've been invited back. The next tab is this little clock icon down at the bottom here, and this is just a view of your schedule at a month's glance here. So you're able to look back and see shifts that you've worked in the past, as well as shifts that you have in the future. And any number that is in bold means that you have something that you've applied to and have either been approved on or are waiting to be accepted. So keep an eye on this. This is a great way to come in and see what you have coming up in the coming week. The next tab is the shifts view, and there's a piece of luggage right here. That's the icon that you want to tap on, and this is where you come in and look at your shifts. You're able to go and see what's available that day that you're looking, and anything off into the future. You'll be able to see the pay, obviously, and drill into those and see what works out best for your schedule and what kind of skill set you have. The next tab is this little dollar sign right here. This is going to go into your earnings page. So you're going to be able to see how much you've earned this month, what your rating is, jobs you've worked, that sort of thing. And if you want to, you can look at your year-to-date by tapping on this year. Next is the menu icon down here in the bottom right, these 3 stripes. This will let you view your profile. You can tap in there and change your photo if you want to, or any kind of information. You'll be able to see how many strikes you have, reviews that companies have given you, your star rating, that sort of thing. You'll be able to also access your notification settings, your Stripe account, referrals, help in FAQ, and signing out. And lastly, you'll have your notifications. Pretty self-explanatory. If you want to see any notifications that have been pushed to you, you can go in there and look at those and just make sure your notifications are turned on. So this is a view of what shifts look like when there are companies that have candidates or spots open for work. So these basically mean that they're still accepting candidates. If you see anything without a banner like this, you can go in and apply. If you see something with a dark blue banner that says backup opportunity, that's a different thing, and we'll get into that shortly. But either one of these, you can apply and be accepted to those. So if you've been accepted to a shift, this is what the job is going to look like. You're going to have a green tile up at the top here that says accepted to work, or you've been accepted as a backup and to show up to work. And then lastly, if you've applied to a shift and you haven't been accepted, you're going to have a yellow banner on top that says waiting to be accepted. So do not show up to that shift unless you have had this switch over to this green banner. At 48 hours before the shift, you'll be accepted or rejected from the shift. We automatically accept people at 48 hours, or companies have up until 48 hours before the shift to actually accept the people that they want that may match up what they need. Let's talk about our backup program. So you're guaranteed pay as a backup worker. And if you apply as a backup for a shift, you're expected to show up ready to work on time, check with the supervisor to see if they need you to stay or not. If you're asked to stay, you get paid for the hours worked. And if you are sent away, Bacon will pay you $15 for being responsible. And that only applies to shifts that you have applied to as a backup. But 9 out of 10 times, you're going to be accepted. So don't be afraid applying it for a backup shift. Let's go over payment. That's the reason why you're here. When you go into your Stripe account, they're going to ask for some information before getting to your bank account and debit card information. We only pay through direct deposit. We don't send out checks. So just be aware of that. And Stripe is a secure company that works with Uber, Lyft, DoorDash. So don't be afraid putting in your information. And then after you've worked a shift, you should receive your payment between 2 to 3 business days from when the company rates you and approves your time. So this is where we're a little bit different than some of those other gig platforms. We have to give the companies an amount of time to verify whether or not you were there and to adjust your hours to what you may have worked. So that's why there's a 2 or 3 business day delay on that. And if you have a credit union, sometimes that can speed things up versus a bank. So let's talk about taxes. And because you're an independent contractor, if you've made over $600 or more in the calendar year, you're going to receive a 1099 on the 3rd week of January. And we typically send those out via email. So please make sure your contact information is current in your Stripe and Bacon accounts so we can email that out to the correct address. Let's talk about being successful on the platform. So one thing that I recommend you do is look at your shift the night before you start. You'll be able to see what time the shift starts, when it ends. You'll be able to see the location so you can kind of plan on how much time it's going to take you to get there. Look over the shift description and the requirements for the shift so nothing catches you off guard as far as what you're going to be required to do that day. You'll want to look at the arrival instructions because every place has a different way of where they want you to enter in through the building, where they want you to park, what door you're going to enter in through, and if you need to meet up with a supervisor once you get to the site. So you're going to want to make sure you know what the arrival instructions are. Look at the dress code so you don't show up in flip-flops when you should be wearing closed-toed shoes. Look over your break details. They'll let you know whether or not they have a refrigerator typically on site and if you can keep your lunch in there. And then if you ever run into any issues, inside the job details, you'll be able to see the shift lead contact information, and you'll have their phone number that you can either call or text them to let them know if there's any issue. And I would recommend doing both. Once you arrive to the shift, you're going to want to check in on the app. We're going to send you a push notification that will let you know that it's time to check in. So we'll go over that here in the next slide. If they have a sign-in sheet, you're going to want to sign that. About 95 to 98% of places are either going to have you sign in on a sheet or check in with a supervisor. And that's how they verify whether or not you were there. And so you want to make sure that you do that. That is, at the end of the day, the biggest thing. Introduce yourself to the supervisor, listen and learn your assignment, hustle and shine. We're really big on that. That just means showing up and doing your job and trying to strive to get a good rating so you can continue to get opportunities on the platform. Verify with the supervisor if it's time to leave, and then sign out on that sheet if they have that, and then check out on your app. You're going to get another push notification at the end of the shift to check out on the app as well. So let's go over check in and check out. So after you get that push notification, you can go into your dashboard, and up at the very top of the screen, there's going to be a red square that says your job is starting, time to check in. So tap on that and the screen will slide up, and there'll be a big red square at the top with a white button that says check in. Once you do that, it'll check you into the shift. Everything is GPS verified, so please make sure that you're on site when that happens. If for whatever reason it doesn't work, that's where that piece of paper and checking in with the supervisor comes in really handy, and making sure that they know that you're there and they don't miss your time so you can get paid. Same thing happens when you check out. You're going to go to the dashboard. There's going to be a big blue button up at the top or square. It says time to check out. Tap on that. The screen will pop up. There'll be a button there to say to check you out. Once you do that, it'll record it if you're on site. If not, then make sure that you've talked with a supervisor or signed out on their piece of paper. Let's go over the strike policy. These are things that you want to avoid. Receiving a 1 or 2 star rating. Your first one is a 3-day suspension, second is 7, third is 30. You'll also be removed from any shift you've been accepted to during that suspension. So stay away from those. Actions that typically result in a low rating would be arriving late or leaving early frequently, being on your phone while you're working, taking longer breaks than allowed, and not working hard or staying on task. So be aware of that. We're all adults. Show up to the job, do your best, and you shouldn't have any issues with this kind of stuff. But if for whatever reason you do get a low rating, know that it's going to suspend you, and it's going to block you from working at that company again, and you won't be able to see their shifts. We also have a no-show and late withdrawal policy, and any mixture of the following will lead to a suspension. So no-shows are really big, and that's a no-brainer. If you're at a regular job and you no-showed, you probably get fired. We're trying to be somewhat lenient, but we can't just let anybody no-show to jobs. So your first one is a 30-day suspension. Second is a 1-year suspension. The other thing is a late withdrawal. So that's withdrawing within 12 hours of the shift starting, and we give you one freebie. Second one's a 30-day suspension. Third is a 1-year suspension. Now we know that things come up, and we're willing to work with you. Just remember, if something happens, you can send in an email to support@baconinc.com, or you can contact the shift supervisor and let them know if something happened and you're not able to make it in. Just know that if you go back to that well a lot and you keep asking for forgiveness for things that frequently happen, the less lenient that the shift supervisor is going to be, and the less lenient we're going to be. So don't take advantage of that. We also have a zero tolerance policy. So using drugs, harassment of any kind, theft, violent behavior is going to lead to a permanent ban on the app. That's a no-brainer. Everybody stay away from those. Let's talk about how you contact support if you do run into an issue. So if you do need help, navigate to the menu and then tap on the Help and FAQ tab, and then scroll down to the bottom, and there'll be a big red button at the bottom there that says Contact Support. When you tap on that, it'll open up an email to contact, or at support@baconinc.com. Make sure that you put in your full name that is on your Bacon app, maybe your phone number or email. Make sure that you're emailing from that, and let us know as much detail as possible of what issue you may be having, so we can best help you out the fastest way we can. And also our support hours are between 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you contact us outside of those hours, most likely we're going to get back to you the next day. If you get in touch with us or you try reaching out to us before 8 a.m., we'll get back to you as soon as we can after 8 a.m. We also give out referral bonuses. This is really easy to do. Inside the app, if you scroll up at the top inside your dashboard, you scroll those little cards left to right, you'll see a refer a friend card. Once you tap on that, It'll bring up a page that you can copy your referral link. You should be able to send that out through text message or through social media, as long as the person that signs up enters your referral code when they're creating their account. It'll link them to you, and then once they work a shift, it will hold that $25 for you to be transferred to you once you go and work your next shift. So you'll receive payment for your next shift as well as that $25 bonus. And just know that there is no limit on the number of referral bonuses that you can earn. So it's a great way to make some extra cash. All right, now we're at the end here. All you need to do is put in this completion code after you've watched this, and you should be good to move on to the next step, which would be applying to a shift and filling out a background check form. So really easy. You'll be in your dashboard. You'll see a big green button that says Virtual Onboarding Complete. Tap on that, and a card will slide up for you to enter in the code, and the code is OYXN. If you have any additional questions, please email us at support@baconinc.com. If you're having issues getting your code to go in, make sure that you're trying it with all caps or closing out your app and opening it back up. If you're still unable to do that, please send us an email at support@baconinc.com, or with any other questions, please send us an email to that same email. We want to thank you for joining us today. We hope that you have a successful experience with bacon, and we hope to see you out on a job here soon. Thanks for joining us.